Both indoor and outdoor air pollution cause serious health effects all over the world, from developing countries to welfare states. Halton is a global technology leader in indoor air solutions in demanding spaces, enabling the well-being of people. Working closely with the science community is essential in the search for a better tomorrow. Innovation hubs present a way to keep finding new, better indoor air solutions for both customers and mankind.
How important is it to you at Halton to work closely with the science community?
It's always been really important to us. So we believe that all our product development has to be based on an understanding of the basic science underlying it. So, for example, the physics of how air flows around. So the basic research is very important. We've always worked together with universities. We've published dozens, if not hundreds, of co-authored scientific papers over the years. And we still work together, for example, with master's students and other researchers in our project to get the best possible results for our clients.
And you also have this exchange program for scientists and researchers.
So we have the innovation hubs. We just opened our 9th innovation hub across the world. And every year, for example, at our original innovation hub in Kausala in Finland, every year we have a student coming in, a student or a researcher. At the moment, it's actually a master's thesis student from China, from Nanjing Technical University, who's using Halton's equipment to do measurements for their thesis. So yes, it's very important.
Tell us a little bit more about these innovation hubs. What's going on in there?
So the innovation hubs, so the first one was started, I'm going to give a bit of history. So the first one was started in 1984 in Kausala. It was a massive investment at the time, but already then we had the belief that this is going to be really important to us. We had to keep innovating to stay on top of the game and keep finding new, better solutions for customers, for our products. So today we have the 9 different ones around the world, in Europe, also in Malaysia and in the US. And they're used so basically they have laboratories for basic studies, so we do more and more accurate measurements of air and all the different features of indoor spaces. There's also some specific ones where we basically build the environments in which our customers operate. So for example, in Kausala, we have a full-on operation room, so like a hospital operation room where surgeries are performed. And we can use that to perform really accurate measurements of what happens to air purity during a surgery, because it's obviously very important that you don't get any impurities when you're operating on a person. And actual doctors from different hospitals can actually come in and test it and see how the equipment works and what kind of tweaks we can make. And we also have something similar for professional kitchens. So for example, in Béthune in France, we have built together with the Innovation Hub, there's like a full-on show kitchen with all the different equipment, and customers can actually come in and have chefs cook for them and watch them cook and look at how all the equipment works while also having a meal. So it's both for research and also for connecting with customers and letting them test the solutions in real life.
Well, how do you use those innovation hubs? How do you search for problems? Do you do that with customers to solve it in an innovation hub to get the ready product for the market? Yeah, so I think what's always really important for us is the customer focus. So there's no point developing something that customers don't need. However, because it's quite a specialist business, so we develop quite complicated solutions for very niche applications, such as professional kitchens. When we think about like different kind of technologies, you mentioned infrared and algorithms. Is our hope in algorithms in the future? I mean, you can do a lot with machine learning in these kind of environments where the data is in restricted environment.
Yes, so this is definitely not my speciality in terms of machine learning and all that. It's a bit of a buzzword almost, but I do think that obviously everyone's talking about data all the time. There's too much data and we need to get better at handling, not too much data, but more data than we know what to do with. And in the spaces where Halton operates, so these challenging indoor environments, there's definitely huge amounts of data that's A, not even collected, or then B, we don't really know what to do with it. And definitely the future of this area will be that we need to become even better at collecting the right kind of data so we can optimize the systems even further. You can also do this for other things like predictive maintenance, for example, in lots of industries.
And it's so interesting when these different kind of technologies and these areas of science come together now. Because now we can like tweak like little parts and combine these innovations to actually make a lot of improvement in the area where people thought that maybe we are top notch already.
What we always wanted to do with Halton is to stay up to speed with all these different developments in different areas of knowledge so that we can also use them and bring them into our customers and the areas where we operate. So yeah, I completely agree with you that it's really fascinating now that all these different branches of science are progressing and how we can use all those different things together.
Well, looking at the world from where you are as a PhD doctorate student and also being a board member in a company and working with scientists and researchers in these science hubs, do you see some hope in the future? Well,
I think it comes down to almost your personal belief system. So I'm quite optimistic just by nature. So yes, I will continue to see hope. Also, there's no point being desperate and stopping to act. I think that way you just become quite cynical. So I think the way to proceed is to be realistic. So understand that the things that have brought us as humans prosperity in the past are going to stop bringing us prosperity and are already bad for lots of people. So we have to be realistic about that we can't continue as we have. But I also do think that we have the capacity to change, and I think the momentum is building up. And I think people on every level of every organization, there are people who actually care about this, who want to do the right thing. So I think we have to just keep this conversation going, even though I know some people think that we're already talking too much about sustainability, so that it becomes so mainstream that there's no choice for everyone except to start changing and think more sustainably. And I think that's how we will hopefully manage to transition.
And I think that it is an interesting time. I mean, we certainly have the technology, so we just need to spread it more evenly. Mm-hmm. And we're starting to have the will also. And then we started to see these policy changes. So we have the keys for ourselves to figure this out.
Yeah, I think so. So I don't think even though I'm all for technological innovation, in terms of saving the world from climate change, I don't think there's that much dramatic innovation needed anymore. Obviously, we need to continue to make things better, more energy efficient, but it's not like we need to find some completely new thing. I think you're right, we have all the tools already. Innovation has always been at the heart of what Halton does. So I think ever since our founding 50 years ago, it's been really clear to us that we need to have really good technological solutions, and that's how we will convince our customers to stick with us, and that's how we can also take the world forward. So the values of the award align very well with Halton's values. And we have actually been supporters before as well. We had a bit of a break in between, but it's really good to be back supporting something that's so clearly a force for good.